What's up, all meet you extrables, droids, and Wookiees? It's Anna, also known as thatstarwarsgirl, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the latest victim of cancel culture. So, if you guys aren't familiar with Joe Rogan, he is a very, very popular podcast host and stand-up comedian. Did a few things. He's a pretty popular guy. People tend to know him considering he's got the #1 podcast. Would you say in the world or just the United States? He got a very popular show. And so on his show, he likes to do long format conversations, and he has, a lot of, very high profile guests. And a lot of those guests will be, either fellow comedians or now more recently, a lot of doctors, a lot of people that, talk about health and stuff like that. And people have decided that that is bad, that you're not allowed to have conversations, you're not allowed to talk about it. They don't really understand, I guess, the concept that, like, if you don't like it, you don't have to listen to it. I listen to Joe Rogan's podcast, especially when I'm at the gym, but I don't watch every single episode because some of them I just don't find very interesting. There are some guests that I'm like, oh yay, this is going to be great. And then there's other guests that it's like, I couldn't give two flying fucks about what the hell they're talking about. Like, I just don't care. And so I skip those episodes because, wow, that concept of, like, you don't have to, sit there and clockwork orange yourself and force yourself to watch or listen to something if you don't want to. But that concept apparently is lost on a lot of people, and so they have been out for blood trying to get his podcast taken down, which doesn't make too much sense to me personally, because he got paid $100 million or $100 million contract for him to be all exclusively on Spotify. So I don't think Spotify is going to just say goodbye to somebody that they spent $100 million on. And so earlier Neil Young came out saying, oh, I'm taking my music off of Spotify. And a lot of people were like, well, a lot of young people were like, one, who's Neil Young? Or, two, Neil Young's still alive? Or three, what, Spotify? People that are, around Neil Young's age. And most recently, Elvira came out and, declared that she wanted Joe Rogan off of Spotify. Now, Elvira originally started off by, just tweeting this: I stand with musicians and artists, not with quacks and hacks. This cause is close to my heart. Please sign. And then continues on. Regarding fans, parentheses, ha ha ha, who are leaving me because they prefer disinformation over truth, all I can say is it's time to clean house and separate the class from the trash. But bye. And then continues. For people who call this censorship, would it be okay if I had a podcast inviting experts to encourage people to drive drunk? If I crash and kill myself, big deal, it's my problem. How are the people you kill or injure in the other car? Do they matter to you at all? Now, this just shows me that she's obviously never watched the podcast, and that, I think, is what's going on with a lot of the people that are up in arms about Joe Rogan's podcast, because, half the time I feel like almost every conversation that I watch of him, he's talking about, or like somehow DMT gets brought up, but this whole thing with, experts and censorship and, all of these accusations, it's like you really don't watch the show. I actually do watch it and I listen to it. Heck, the last one that I was watching was with Valentine Thomas, and she's talking about, what it's like to, live her life and how she, gave up being a lawyer and she just likes traveling and, she goes spearfishing for her food, and them talking about, pirates and how there's still pirates off the coast of Brazil and what happened, to Somalia and how basically everyone dumped their waste off the coast of Somalia and killed all the fish, and just how the Somalis got getting into piracy and stuff like that. They didn't even really talk about COVID, unless I haven't gotten to that part of the episode yet, because I'm still not done, because it's a 3 to 4 hours podcast half the time. And yes, I have listened to the episodes where he has doctors with, actual patents to prove that they created mRNA, did I say that right? mRNA technology, for stuff that I'm not allowed to say on YouTube because, yes, censorship is an actual thing that a lot of content creators have had to deal with. So all this tells me is that she's never watched Joe Rogan. And a lot of people, you know, started commenting on that. They're like, you want to sign this petition to stand with Neil Young. My thought is that I think she just wants to stay relevant, right? And I've met Elvira in person. And for those of you that don't know, if you're like, who the heck is Elvira? She's famous for this movie, Elvira, Mistress of the Night. And one of the things that she does in this movie is, and I believe it's still free on YouTube if you guys want to watch it. I'll see after I'm done filming this if I can find the link, and I'll put it down in the description for you guys. But she leaves her job where she's reviewing movies for this one network because a guy, like a misogynistic man, takes over the network, and he like squeezes her boobs. So she slaps him and quits with, turns out, doesn't have the thing in Vegas lined up like it should. And so it's like she wants to do her own thing. That's her whole thing. She's tired of reviewing movies the way she does. She wants to do her own show. So everything that she's saying, because yeah, she is obviously standing for censorship by trying to get a guy's show taken away just because she doesn't like it, which is exactly what happened to her character. Obviously, she's not groping Joe Rogan, but I mean, you're trying to take away a man's livelihood, which is what happened to her. That's what happened to Elvira in the movie. They took away her livelihood, and she had to, you know, go and try and build herself up and do her own thing. That Joe Rogan literally built himself up and made his own thing and became successful, and now she's trying to take it away from him. It's like, did you not watch your own movie? Did you not get the message of your own film? And, you know, like I said, I've met Elvira because she does, you know, conventions. She's always at, you know, Halloween and horror conventions, and she's always signing autographs. She's always taking pictures, and as far as I'm aware, she's not really doing anything new. So why would you alienate your audience like this unless you're trying to get some kind of relevancy? But it gets worse for her because, you know, she starts, you know, insulting the fans. Like, here we go right here, this gentleman named Robert. Huge fan, have always been since the movie oh my god, I'm not going to pronounce that right, days, but I can't follow this call for censorship. Joe Rogan has openly invited experts to discuss both sides. And then she said, but bye! Don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out. And it's like, oh my god. So she's alienating her fans, which I don't think is a good idea because her entire, I mean, unless she's got some kind of royalties for the Elvira movie and the character, which, I mean, I'm assuming she does because she's always selling merch. If your entire income is based on some royalties based on merch, then you're literally cutting off your paycheck by alienating this fan. So I don't know what the angle is here. If she's genuinely afraid of Joe Rogan, you would think that she would be actually watching to see what it is that he's having to say, right? Because there is that saying that, you know, nobody watches you more than your haters. And so I would assume that, you know, if you really are that scared about what he's saying, you would have seen what he's saying and not just maybe a clip or two taken out of context. I would assume, as an intelligent adult and an intelligent human being, you would want to actually go and do some research and see what it is, to see if it is actually a threat or not. At least that's what I would do. But that's just me. I'm just some chick on the internet, right? And then it continues. I never existed by bringing ill-informed experts on health during a pandemic onto my show. Why play devil's advocate with an actual scientist for ratings? You can do that, but there are real consequences. We don't have the luxury of time to play that game right now. Well, she would know if she watched the show, you know, the actual doctors, again, like, you know, he was kicked off Twitter, even though he has, I mean, he created these things. He has patents proving that he created these types of things that they stick you with at the doctor's office. But she would know that if she actually watched it, but she hasn't. And then it continues. Why is it that when you spark a debate with others who don't agree with you, their immediate response is to attack your looks, your age, your career, etc., particularly the men? Totally off the prompt. It says everything I need to know about them. It's all they've got. I'm going to contradict this. It seems to be all you got, girl. And I mean, I've met her in person, and she has built a career off of her looks. Which, there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong. If you got it, girl, and you're making all your money, you're making your movies, then by all means, you got it, and it makes you happy. It's what you want to do with your life. More freaking power to you. But saying this, when one tweet ago, he didn't say anything about her looks. All he said was, I can't follow this call for censorship. And she responded with, but bye. And then making this accusation that basically all men are pigs and attacking her looks. I'm sorry, but this isn't attacking your looks. This is, just disagreeing with you on your calling for censorship. And it continues. By the way, if you're going to insult me, you're going to have to go a lot harder than that, because I've heard it all. I've heard it all. Well, I would just say, Elvira, do your research. If you are that threatened by this show, why don't you actually watch it just to see that it's actually not a threat? I mean, if you're that terrified of two people having a conversation in Texas, sitting with a couple microphones and then posting that conversation on the internet, then how do you handle real life? It's just my 2 cents on it. And I mean, it does continue. They don't know who they're dealing with. Also, they don't know what they're dealing with. It's not about me. It's about us. I want people to live. Why is that bad? Well, you know what's funny? Joe Rogan could post this exact same thing, because that's what they talk about on the podcast. So you actually agree with Joe Rogan here. Now, just out of curiosity, I want to take a look at this petition from all of these people that claim that he's so dangerous, because, they're avid watchers of the show, and they know what he's saying is bad, quote unquote. So, let's see. Joe Rogan, take in mind, because 92,876 people have signed this. Okay. Joe Rogan usually gets 11 million people listening to his podcast. 11 million. Which is why a lot of people get pissed off, because his show is so popular. People like what he has to say. People like the guests that he has on. Not all the time in my case, Sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe they're probably nice people. I'm just not that interested in, what this conversation is, about. And that's completely fine. Everyone has their likes and dislikes. Everyone has their interests, right? So I'm going to just take a safe bet and say a good percentage of this 92,876 people did not watch or do not listen to the Joe Rogan podcast. Now, another thing that these people were all arguing about was about the stock of Spotify. Now, the stock market is something, again, I don't have any interest in, but they were throwing like a big, yay, look, it dropped. It went down to like $195 per stock. And guess what? It's back up at $203.62. I think that's right. I think this is how that all works. Again, I have no interest in the stock market, so I don't really pay attention to it. But this is something that they were crying about. They're like, it dropped by 4%. Ray, we're winning. And it's like, all you're doing is making Joe Rogan more popular and bringing more eyes onto this kind of stuff. Because again, I have no interest in the stock market. I wouldn't have looked at this if it wasn't for people screaming about it, right? So they're bringing more eyes to this kind of thing. They're bringing more eyes to people laughing at the fact that they haven't even gotten 100,000 signatures, and this thing has been up for what, a few days now, or 5 days, 1 week. So it's been up for over a week, and they haven't even gotten 100,000 people to literally just sign up. That, again, Joe Rogan's got 11 million listeners every single week whenever he posts a show. So I don't think he's in trouble, and I'm, good on Spotify for standing with him. But anyways, everyone, I just wanted to talk about this because I just think that it's just complete hypocrisy. It's like, Elvira, why don't you go and watch your own movie? Like, why don't you actually watch the show that you're calling out and see that literally the things that you're tweeting, you agree with Joe Rogan, right? You in this tweet in particular, you agree with him. And all it would take is for you to actually do a little bit of research before you open your big mouth on the internet. But anyways, everyone, I just wanted to talk to you guys about this because I just thought it was absolutely ridiculous, and I like calling out hypocrisy sometimes. It's fun. So anyways, let me know what you guys think about all of this down in the comment section below. If you liked this video, go ahead and smash the like button. If you didn't, that's okay too. Thank you so much for watching this far through. Everything I've shown you will be linked down below in the description of this video. And if you guys haven't subscribed yet, maybe take a minute, smash the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. Make sure that that bell is set to all. That way you actually get notifications when I do other videos and live streams. And till next time, everyone, I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world, and may the force be with you, because we are really, really, really going to need it. Bye, everyone. Once again, thank you so much, everyone, for watching my channel and my content. And if you would like to support me further, go ahead and check out my Etsy, The Art of Anna, TSWG, where I sell prints of my original oil paintings and drawings. I have a variety of characters, from landscapes to horror villains to Star Wars characters, DC and Marvel. So go check that out, and everyone, have a wonderful day. Thank you.